Hi,
And they're
everybody.
swimming. Hello.
Welcome to Decoding Your Superpowers. I'm
Hmm.
Teresa Lisum here with my friend and fellow coach.
Linda Karchner.
We're so glad to have you here today. We're going to kind of continue the conversation from yesterday. Oh my God, last week.
It
It kind of
all
seems
goes
like
together. Yeah,
yesterday.
it does. It does.
We were talking about resolutions and starting the year, and people have these big, grandiose ideas, and then
Mhm.
they kind of start them and then they kind of fail, and then you feel bad about yourself, blah, blah, blah. We all know the pattern. But we kind of were thinking along the line of what are some strengths that we could use, we could lean into this year with some more intention than we have in the past. And
Mhm.
we kind of were looking at our each on our own strengths and both independently, I think, kind of looked at and came to connectedness as
Mhm.
something that we know is there. It's kind of in the background. And I don't want to speak for you, Linda, so you jump
Yeah.
in and correct me, but it's kind of in the background. I don't pull it out all that much, but is that a strength that I can use more and amplify more this year? So we thought we would explore this whole connectedness strength and just
Mhm.
see if it is something that we want to play with more this year.
Kind of
So,
bring it to the forefront of our mind.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
think that this strength inherently is a background type of strength. It's like
Hmm.
running all the.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reason why I don't bring it to the forefront because it's just sort of like that engine that's humming along in the background, kind of moving everything else along and impacting everything else,
Hmm. I
but
like
doesn't
that
really
idea.
need to be in the forefront. And when I try to be conscious about it, it's like nailing jello to the wall. It's just sort of
Oh,
slippery.
one of those things where, like you said, it's humming along. I really like that analogy. It's in the background. It's an engine that
Mm,
is always on, but we don't, like if we think about it and try to use it too much,
mm,
then we can't quite grasp it. It's almost like a conceptual strength.
yeah,
It's just one
yeah,
that's very ethereal and very nebulous,
right,
and
right.
um, it's might be harder to really see evidence of it
Hmm.
in our daily lives. I mean,
Hmm.
I do, and I, like you said, it comes to the forefront every once in a while, like, oh, I just think that's my connectedness, coming up
Right.
to play.
Yeah.
And then it goes back down and hums in the background. So I
Hmm.
really like that. So thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
that's a good one. But we probably should share what is connectedness,
Yeah,
the
that's a good
strength
idea.
itself.
Hmm.
So it's this idea that a person of high connectedness can see things as being connected,
Hmm.
whether they be circumstances like this happened, and then, oh, this, look what it led to this, and then this happened. That's
Hmm.
how I've seen it play out for me. Like
Hmm.
I could see this common thread
Hmm.
that went through particular happenstances. And when I pointed it out, and this happened to be to my siblings, when I pointed it out, they were like, "Oh, you're right. That did happen." And we were
Uh-huh.
connecting a negative situation, and I could see the positive end result. And this happened, and we didn't make that happen. It happened because
Hmm.
it was, a miraculous thing that happened and very serendipitous.
Hmm.
And so that was all my connectedness. It was all my
Right.
connectedness at
Right.
work. And I wasn't trying to make it work. It was just working in the background.
Huh? Just humming
So
along.
I love that. So thank you. I think that's a powerful way of thinking about connectedness.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
and then other people who don't have it, they can't see those
Right.
connections.
Right. Yeah. I often call connectedness the ripple effect strength
Mm,
because you recognize that when you or someone else throws that stone into the pond, there's a connection, a ripple
mm,
effect that happens
yeah.
that affects all of us. So my first career was as a mental health therapist. And oh man, the heartbreaking connectedness that I saw of how parents acted and caused
Mm,
maladaptive behaviors in their children. Heartbreaking.
mm,
And so, there's a sad side to connectedness too. Um, and I forget where I was reading it. It might have been in the Clifton Strength stuff where it said something about connectedness, that you have to realize that even though you recognize the links among things, you're not the cause of those links and you're not
mm,
responsible
yes.
for
Yeah.
that ripple effect.
Yeah.
Um,
I did
yeah.
see because I really dug into my
Hmm.
reports that
Yeah.
Gallup gives us after we take the
Yeah.
assessment. I mean, they give you like 4, 5, 6 reports. I don't really know how many. There's a lot. There's,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
we
there's at least four.
at least four. There's one that we as coaches tend to really start from and use as our basis. But when
Right.
you really dig into the other ones, there's a lot of richness there. Now, Gallup does tend to focus on the top five.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so their emphasis is those top five. We look at the top 10 and
Yeah.
beyond. So we are more a little bit more expansive than Gallup is,
Hmm.
in my opinion, which
Hmm.
has a lot of advantages. But this, I'm glad you brought up this responsibility idea. You're right. Even though we are connected, we have to allow other people to share that responsibility for their
Hmm.
own judgments and their own actions. We
Hmm.
can't take that on. We have to trust that it's their journey to go on.
Yeah. That's hard
And we're just
sometimes.
observing, we're just
Right.
noticing what's happening, but we
It's
can't.
kind of like with empathy, what we've talked about with empathy. That I don't have that high, but people who have empathy high, and we've coached people on this, like you need to understand that you're the thermometer, not the thermostat. You're not in
Right.
charge of changing the temperature.
Hmm.
As the thermometer, you're just, observing and recording the temperature of the room. And
Right.
for those of us with connectedness, it's not our job to stop the ripple effect or to take responsibility for the ripple effect. It's to notice it and sit with it and help other people to see it, like you mentioned with your siblings.
Now I'm gonna stay with this responsibility theme
Okay.
because this is kind of like the opposite of what we just spoke about.
Hmm.
So if
Hmm.
we as high connectedness people believe that everyone is part of something larger. I
Hmm.
do believe that. And it's really
Hmm.
it's has nothing to do with a religious
Right.
lean. It's just a big conceptual. Everything happens for a reason. Everything's connected. Me and Linda are connected for a reason. Anybody watching this, you're watching this for a reason.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally believe that.
Mhm.
But it also implies, I'm going to read this right from my report. This belief implies certain responsibilities. Their awareness of these responsibilities create their value system.
Mm.
So that means even though we said we're not responsible for
Mm.
other people's actions,
Mm.
we are responsible for our own awareness and allowing our connectedness to determine or guide our values. And
Mm.
that's not something I never really thought about.
Mhm.
So, because we're seeing this big, broad picture of all these points of lights being connected and
Right.
circumstances being connected, that kind of has shaped our value system.
Mhm.
And,
Oh, absolutely.
I never really thought about that.
Yeah, that makes total sense though, because like for me, things like, and this is a heavy topic, like racism or anything like that, like you can't look down on another person
Hmm.
because they have a different amount of melanin in their skin than you have, because when you hurt someone else of the human race, you're hurting yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. Ooh, I'm getting
Yeah,
chills on this. You're
yeah,
right. Because we do see our connection with all of humanity.
right.
So we have a certain way of thinking and feeling about other people. And like you said, a certain level of caring and a certain,
Mhm.
accepting of others and a certain heart connection, I
Right.
think. And that could be why it's painful for me to
Yes.
watch a lot of what's
Yeah.
going on in the world that's
Yes.
negative. Like I can't. It's just too much for me. It's
Yeah,
overwhelming.
right. I get, and I think we're both going to be kind of emotional about this. Um, you know, I see that pain and I want to do something about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to shake people and wake them up,
Hmm.
or I take it on and I get anxious. And I
Yes.
tend that
Yes.
way anyway, to have anxiety, and so I sometimes I have to take a palate cleanse, take a mental health break
Yeah.
from it and focus.
Disconnect.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
disconnect my connectedness.
Yes. And take care of our own energy and our own
Mhm.
self because it could get overwhelming. And I just wonder if sometimes, if somebody does have high connectedness, if that happens, they go to that extreme end where it is too much for them and
Yeah.
they haven't taken the time to disconnect and to understand that, oh, I see the connectedness and we're all connected, but what happens over here
Right.
affects me and like that's almost a big overwhelming
Hmm.
awareness. And I just wonder if that affects some people in a way that's not good for them, but they just don't realize it.
Yeah, yeah, it could be very debilitating and overwhelming if you did not set some parameters.
Right. Thank you. That's a really good way of saying that. Create some boundaries
Hmm.
around that. And again, the awareness would be so helpful. But if you're not aware of it, you
Hmm.
don't know what's happening.
Yeah, yeah, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, why are you thinking that way? Why are you feeling that way? Yeah, that's powerful stuff. And I didn't realize we would go
I know,
that
right?
way.
Me either.
Right. But just so many interesting things to think about. And another thing that I learned in gathering my information, because that's what I do, I'm an input
Hmm.
person as well. So I
Hmm.
gather information, even on connectedness as my
Of
own
course.
personal strength. That a person with strong connectedness is like a bridge builder. They can build bridges or be the bridge
Hmm.
between this group and this group, or
Hmm.
this person and this person.
Hmm.
And I've kind of thought of that every once in a while.
Yeah.
I can see myself as a a connector. I like to use the word connector, which is
Hmm.
interesting because
Hmm.
connectedness, that's a
Hmm.
variation of it. But people that might not be on the same page, I
Right.
think it's easy for a connectedness person to bridge that gap and bring them closer together
Hmm. Hmm.
in an opinion or
Right.
whatever. But
Yeah, we see the value of that,
right,
of
right.
bringing
So
people together, of making those connections. It's hard to explain it without using the word connection or
right.
connectedness.
Right. And so Gallup really did label that well.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
sometimes some of their strengths are not quite exactly what you think they would be based on their label,
Yeah.
their descriptor, but this one is definitely a
Yeah.
well named. Yeah, that whole concept of being a bridge builder could be something that I could use into the rest of the year. I don't know. I'm still, gathering and deciding, but that could
Right.
be an awareness that could be very helpful and see where it takes me.
Hmm.
And that'd be interesting to see who people that are ambassadors and the mediators
Yeah.
between nations or groups of
Right.
people or two people that are in a divorce court. I'd love to know if their connectedness is high because they're
Right.
building bridges or
Hmm.
maintaining those bridges between these two groups or two
Right.
people.
Estranged.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see where that falls for them.
Hmm.
So if anybody wants to reach out and make a comment and let us know,
Yeah.
we'd love to
Yeah,
hear.
we would love to hear from someone who's in one of those roles or positions and how you perceive connectedness, if you have it high.
Right.
We'd love some input
Oh my
with
gosh,
that.
that'd be such an interesting thing to hear about.
Hmm.
This is something else I found interesting. A person of high connectedness helps others find meaning in the unpredictability of the world around them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because again, we see these connections and these threads, possibly of predictability that nobody
Right.
else is seeing. So
Right.
people could possibly seek out a connectedness person for a sense of comfort and stability and, you know, kind of lean into their trust in everything's going to work out.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
they can't see it going to work out, but they can lean into me or you as a person of high connectedness.
Yeah.
So that's a gift that we could give others for sure.
Right.
And
And
hopefully we
kind of,
do give.
I hope so. Yeah. Kind of piggybacking onto that. One of the things that I was reading was that people with high connectedness help others make sense out of painful situations.
Interesting.
Because, like, for myself, thinking back about some of the most painful situations of my life, I can say that they were learning experiences for me that made me so much more compassionate and understanding
Mm,
for people who are going through the same thing or people who are struggling in any regard. Like people who are going through painful situations, I can say I have felt emotional pain or the pain of this or the pain of that, and I can sit with you in your pain because I
wow.
know that I grew through that. I became stronger in my faith. It wasn't easy. It was a rocky road, but I came through on the other side, and I know you can too because I did. And
Mm-hmm.
I I'm just a person, and so can kind of give that hope that there's a reason for the pain. It may
Mm,
not make sense now. It may never make
mm,
sense, but we can grow through it.
I love that. And it almost sounds like you're connecting them to their best version of their future.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you're making that connection from where they are now to
Hmm.
where they will be and they can be
Hmm.
once this bumpy road is over with.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a beautiful gift to share with people and for them to depend on you for that. So yeah, this is powerful,
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
a powerful strength for sure. I know originally I thought it was kind of like a foo-fooey, fluffy, like
Yeah.
positivity. I thought, oh, that's fun for me, but when you dig into these, they're all very powerful in
So,
terms of serving
oh my
others.
goodness, yes. And
Hmm.
that's what strengths is all about. We weren't given these strengths to build ourselves up or to make
Hmm.
money for ourselves. We are given these strengths for, and this is maybe my connectedness talking, for the greater good, for the
Right,
benefit of
right.
humankind and
Yeah.
humanity. Like, and that is, I mean, that is the definition of strengths when you even ask Gallup. It's for all, for the world at large.
Right,
Don
right.
Clifton had connectedness high. I can't remember. I've seen his
Mm,
top five. Um, I found another website that talks about strengths, and it's called leadthroughstrengths.com. And I'll give you this link, Teresa, so you can maybe put it in the description or something if you could
okay.
go back and do that. But they have a section on here, and it mainly focuses on like the work environment. But
Hmm.
again, this applies to everything. So they have a section for each of the 34 strengths. So I have pulled up the connectedness one. So they do yucks, as in yucky. What's yucky
Oh my gosh, it's
for
funny.
each of the strengths? So, a yucky situation for connectedness is close-mindedness, or when people refuse to see that issues impact more than just us.
Hmm.
Another yucky situation for people with high connectedness is when they're experiencing an us versus them mentality, because we all have a ripple effect on each other. Fun
Wow.
fact. So, a yay situation for connectedness is getting to integrate parts into a whole, seeing how people and ideas map together, and
Mm,
exploring the mystery in things and seeing the threads of commonality.
mm.
And then they have like four other different sections, but you kind of get the idea. Like,
Yeah. Wow.
it's kind of neat how they talk about how, like, what would be upsetting for us as connectedness high people? Like,
Mm.
what would be a, I hate to use this overused word, but a trigger for us? Not that we're gonna, go off the deep end or anything, but what hurts our hearts as
Well,
someone with high connectedness?
I will say, because you were saying how a yuck is closed-minded, people not understanding the
Mhm.
ripple effect of their
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah.
And one of mine is litter. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
so sorry. Garbage, litter,
Right.
people throwing things like, what the heck do they think's going to happen with
Yeah.
that stuff?
That
Like,
dirty diaper that they left in the
yeah,
Walmart
yeah,
parking lot.
like what
Yeah.
is like you can't think beyond you needing to get rid of this can or this dirty diaper or whatever. And it's just going to sit there forever.
Right.
And you don't see how that's affecting anybody else and the planet, like,
Yeah. And those poor animals.
yeah, it's just like, come on.
I read an article that, I don't want to digress too much, but it's what you're saying. It shocked me. Like, when we're traveling, if we're eating an apple, we'll throw our apple cores out alongside the road.
Yeah,
And this
yeah,
article said, don't do that,
really.
because number one, you don't throw it far enough out into the woods that the deer are gonna, or the little animals or whatever, they're gonna come up close to the road
Oh,
and try and eat that. And then they might get hit, or they're going to come to expect there to be food close to the road. And so then they might get hit. And plus,
oh,
the food that we have is easy food for them, that just messes up their whole biome.
oh,
I'm like,
wow.
oh, I've thrown
Well,
so many apple
I
cores
know
out
you
the
and me
window.
both. Oh
Because I
man,
thought
now
it's
I'm,
natural. It'll biodegrade, or the
yes, like
deer will nibble at it.
right. I would never throw out a can or a
No.
plastic bottle or anything because I know that's never going to decay.
Right, right.
But yeah,
But
a food item, and now I got to stop doing that
I know.
because I can see
Yeah,
what could be the result of that
right,
action.
right.
And that's that connectedness theme running through the background.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what you pulled out from that website is so interesting. Closed-mindedness. I struggle with people who are
Yeah,
so closed-minded and have blinders on and can't see anything beyond what's happening right then and there.
right.
Like come on. Like to me, it's
Mhm.
very, very obvious. And to other people, it's not because they're operating from a different set of strengths. So
Yeah.
it's my job, I guess, to either do something about it from my own perspective, either say something, pick it up, whatever, or teach
Right.
somebody the proper way or lead by example or something.
Mhm.
That's my job. Eddie V, our mentor, has always said, well, if somebody's not doing it, that means it's your job to do
Yeah.
it. Darn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just those little minor things can be so impactful. But again, not everybody understands that or sees that,
Right.
whereas we
Right.
do. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's so interesting to really dig
Yeah.
into some of
Fascinating.
these.
Hmm.
Now, as to where, again, our original question was, how can we
Yeah.
use this as our year moves forward? Like, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
But it's so powerful. I'm just looking at some of my notes that I pulled together, see if
Hmm.
there's something. Oh man, I don't know. I was sharing with Linda before we started that inside one of my reports, they took the
Hmm.
connectedness strength and paired it with each of my top five strengths.
Yeah.
And I had never seen them partnered like that. It was really interesting. And I have to admit, don't always take the time to dig into those
Hmm.
reports.
Hmm.
It's just something you would do, once in a while. But it was really interesting to see the information they were sharing with me, they were giving me. Um, so they also give you some suggestions as to how you can use your connectedness.
Right.
But it just keeps coming up again and again, showing, helping other people to see the connections,
Mm.
to see the connection between what they're doing and the ripple effect. I mean, I
Right.
use that phrase ripple effect all the time
Uh-huh.
because I truly feel we are a ripple effect out into the world. And
Yeah.
here, that's my connectedness talking
That's
in the
right.
background. So it's just so funny that these things I've been able to see I've been aware now by doing this little bit of research for
Mhm.
myself in our conversation that, oh, it is working for me in the background. These themes come up periodically, and that's how I live my life.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Now, again, in terms of how I'm going to use connectedness more into my year, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer right now.
I think I'm gonna start with what you just pointed out a couple minutes ago of how my connectedness pairs with and works with my other four of my top five, which is what
Mhm.
Clifton Strengths puts forth.
Right.
And maybe try and figure out how it works with 6 through 10 also. And just, because it's something that's practical. So maybe do some sort of affirmation, proclamation kind of thing that integrates some of those. Uh, I don't know. That's just my first thought
Yeah,
of,
yeah, and
of something I might do.
we're just starting this,
Yeah,
because we just
we'll
became
keep you
clear of it.
posted.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep you posted. And I know we need to wrap up. Well, we may have a few more minutes, and I don't even know if you want to go here or not, Linda, but I know in the past you expressed um, being really involved with your church
Right. Hmm.
and that religious,
Yeah.
support system
Hmm.
that your connectedness, I guess, doesn't show up like you thought maybe it should
Yeah.
be. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that's something you want to bring up or you'd
Yeah.
rather not.
So, I mean, like with my connectedness, I thought I should never doubt. Like, because I have it so high. Like, why do I ever doubt the love of God or doubt even the existence of God, like, like why? I get that because I have connection high. Why don't I have faith high?
Mm-hmm.
My belief isn't high. It's 15, so it's not super low, but it's kind of in the middle. So a belief is like more of the stubborn,
Right. Strong.
strong conviction,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
connectedness is like we've said, it's more amorphous, it's more conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want it to be that strong piece, I guess. Um, you know, yeah, so like why do I ever doubt when I have connectedness so high?
And that's a good question for all of us with connectedness.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I'm glad you brought that up. That's probably something for me to really lean into
Mm-hmm.
more this year. Trust
Mm-hmm.
my connectedness. Trust the the inner knowing that I know that everything is connected. Everything always
Right.
works out. We're
Right.
always moving towards a higher level of good, a better
Mm-hmm.
version of ourselves, a better world, a better set of systems. Like I believe that. Do I act like that is so 100% of the time? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm human. I get caught
Right.
up in everything else. But maybe that's my something, my action for this year is to really just trust that knowing, that connectedness more, and that everything is happening for a reason. And trust that, whether it be positive or negative or in between.
Right.
I do know, I do know like the state of the world, as we
Right.
know it right now, a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
it's really heavy and it's really negative and it's really like, oh my God, this is not going to turn out good.
Right.
But then
Right.
I feel like I'm on the other side, like, no, I think it is going to be great. It's
Yeah.
moving in a better direction.
Right. I can
Maybe not at
see
this
some
moment in time. It's kind of
glimpses.
muddy, but I
Right.
think that's my connectedness
Uh-huh.
moving me and keeping me in that perspective. And then my positivity thrown in there
Right. Yeah.
is part of it as well. They work really well together.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's our job as well, to uphold that
Mhm.
sense of the goodness of people, the goodness of the world, the beauty that's happening, the joy, the delight. Like that's our focus so that others can lean on that when they're not seeing it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You maybe someone who had positivity like in their bottom five or at number 34,
Hmm.
they might find that their connectedness, their awareness of the ripple effect focuses on the negative ripple effects. Because like I mentioned before, like I can see that in parenting, like how a negative pattern of behavior affects future generations.
Hmm.
So maybe it might be a struggle for people who don't have positivity as high as we do. That's my
True,
number
true.
11,
Yep.
to see the positive ripple effect and maybe, needing a little mindset adjustment on that.
Hmm.
But where you and I can both see those glimmers of hope and people making progress or being able to focus, because we do believe that when one person helps a little old lady across the street, that's going to affect in a positive way
Hmm.
everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
It does. Like, and I've even seen like commercials. I think I mentioned this to you before, and I only saw this commercial like maybe twice, but it's like two ladies passing each other going in and out of a building, and the one lady says to the other, "Oh, that's a really cute outfit." "Oh, thank you." And it was like some kind of wild sort of outlandish outfit, but she was appreciated. So the one who received the compliment, she goes on down her day along her path, and she sees someone else that has a different kind of outfit, and she's like, "Oh, that's a really nice outfit."
Hmm.
So that is, the ripple
The
effect,
ripple effect.
positive
Yes.
ripple effects.
Yes, for sure. And that's our connectedness
Hmm.
running in the background. Oh my
Right.
God, I love that
We're just humming
idea.
along.
And it'll pop up when it needs to, a little
Right.
bit stronger. But so thank you for that. I love that. I'm going to keep that with me for sure.
Yeah.
But I now that we've spoken about it, I think I'm going to use my connectedness for more of a trust,
Uh-huh.
like trust
Hmm.
that
I
inner
love
knowing,
that.
trust
Yeah.
that this is happening for a reason and we'll get through it. So that's important because I've always kind of struggled with
Hmm.
self-doubt and
Hmm.
trusting what I know and what I've learned from life experience. And so I need to lean more into that. And I can use my connectedness to help me with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank you
that
for
sounds
helping me
good.
come to that.
Yeah, yeah. I got feel like I have a little practical handle on what I'm going to work on too, and
Yeah,
bring that connectedness to the forefront.
this has been so fun. We might have to dig into another strength and just
Yeah,
really go deeper in it. This
this
has just been
this
so
might be
fun.
helpful for people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been helpful for me, that's for
Yeah.
sure. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
following the thread, following
Uh-huh.
the connection
That's
with
right.
me. This is how it was supposed to play out today.
Uh-huh.
And we
That's
just
right.
came to that last week when
I
we were
know.
talking
Yeah.
on our Decoding Your Superpowers episode.
Uh-huh.
So if you haven't seen last week's, go look that up. Maybe I'll connect it to this one. Connected. Oh my God, it's going to keep coming up, isn't it?
I know.
So we want to thank everybody for listening in, whether you're listening
Yeah.
live or with
Yeah.
our recording. I made myself this little sign so
Oh,
I could
that's right.
remember so I
Yeah,
could
yeah, I
remember
love
to
your
say this
sign.
stuff. So so if you found this helpful, subscribe, share, comment, like. We would love to hear from you. We offer this all the time. If you
Yeah.
have a strength
Yeah.
assessment report that you want to dig out, you just had it, and you would like a little bit of free
Hmm.
coaching here when we do this
Right.
most weeks, feel free to connect with either me or Linda, send it over to us, and we can have you here as our guest and
Yeah,
get
we'd love that.
real-time feedback, or we could just pick through it without you. We don't care,
Yeah.
but we
We'll
really
talk
love to
about
have,
you,
we really
but only
love to
good
have,
things.
we really love real-time people with us, but
It's fun.
we
Yeah,
would,
we were just talking to one of our fellow coaches a little bit ago, and we maybe are pulling her in, hopefully in a week or two, to just go over her report and talk
yeah.
about some things that are going on in her life.
Yeah, so
That'll be fun.
it's just interesting how things can always come back to our strengths. I
Yes.
know when I'm in conversation with people,
Uh-huh.
it's so fun that my
Oh
brain,
yeah.
they're talking and my
Yeah.
brain's like, oh, I think she's an influencer. Oh, I
Uh-huh.
think she, like my brain just starts to go to, like, oh, I'm trying to guess what her strengths are in the
Right.
course of our conversation. It's just so fun. All
We should
right.
make a t-shirt. I'm silently assessing your
Yeah,
strengths or something like
yes.
that.
I mean, I don't mean to. It's just happening, you know?
Yeah, well,
So,
we're pretty well inculcated with all that information.
yes, yes, yes. There's that awesome word. All
Yeah.
right, my friend. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank
you.
you to everybody listening in. We so enjoy this. We are so appreciative of you being here with us.
Mhm.
And we will see you. Oops, I don't think I'm going to be here next week.
Oh,
Is that
that's right. Yeah.
next week already? So we will be taking a little bit of a break,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we'll be back
Yeah. The
around.
week
So
after.
don't you worry.
That's right.
All right, my friends. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.